get the recording started.
It's December. Can you feel the holidays in the air? How did we get here? I always say that every month because it's this interesting thing when you're doing something monthly. It really is kind of like it keeps you like, I don't know, alert in terms of where we are in the year. So thank you guys. Stephanie's gonna ping a few others. We may have had a little technical hiccup on the calendar invites, and we will proceed. But I think what I'd like to do before we get into a general discussion, let's use this as an opportunity to say hello to Bay. Bay, tell us about Any Road and you.
Well, thank you so much for allowing us to join. I missed the last one, and I'm gonna be able to join for 30 minutes. I can't join the whole one, unfortunately. I've
All
got
right.
customer calls, but my name is Bay McLaughlin. I'm a managing director of the Lifetime Loyalty Division here at Any Road. Any Road, you may or may not have heard of, but we support and power tours, tastings, and activations on premise and off premise for spirits and alcohol brands. So we have almost 500 brands across 25 countries that use us, over 200 in the US. Heavy focus in spirits. We do have quite a few in beer and wine as well, but much heavier. Like 80% of the Bourbon Trail uses our software. 60% of Scotch distilleries in Scotland use our software. So our whole vision for the last 10 years building this company has been, how do we help brands prove we already know, which is that experiences, both virtual and in person, direct with your end consumer is the best way to spend your marketing dollars. And people may intuitively know that. Our founder was one of the first marketing hires for Red Bull, spent $1 billion a year on advertising and didn't know why, or events and didn't know why it was working, and then found out they were number one in the category. And that bothered him. So he built this company.
Mm-hmm.
So we specialize, my division, helping brands figure out how to go deeper beyond just the tours, tastings, and activations data that our core software does, where we power 20,000 experiences every month. 20 million consumers go through our software every year. And I now help them build deeper, ongoing relationships through our lifetime loyalty products and direct-to-consumer products like bottle clubs, membership programs, deep VIP experiences, etc.
You know, this is a topic that is very consistently raised, and we've got a lot of members, participants who are none of whom I think are here on this call yet, who are in that space, maybe not as grand a global scale as you guys are, and talk a lot about the challenges of having the brands or the clients understand the importance or the value of the data.
Right.
And so I think, not to make everything about we generally don't like to do sales pitches, but I think that the topic is one that we may want to, on an upcoming gathering, to actually make it the topic of discussion and get a few of the players, who have been participating and talking about it. I'm thinking of Erica, I'm thinking of Ryan, I'm thinking of Sherman, and really kind of have a summit to a degree on that. So I think that that's great. And I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts about it, but that's just, my feeling is that.
We'd be happy to support. We do that often. We actually run our own executive summits twice a year, one in the US, one in Europe every year, where we invite, different executives to come and have 2 days fully diving into figuring out how this makes sense. The new transition for us after the last 10 years of helping people collect data, often having to just have them trust us because they can never totally conceive what to do with it. And
Right.
now the next 10 years, our whole new motto is how do we turn all that data into dollars? So we're moving into direct to consumer and supporting these brands, owning the relationships that they work so hard to invest, and create, that unfortunately just get lost usually in the ether, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's thank you for that.
Thanks for letting us join. Thank you.
So Reed, I see you're on mute. It's been a month or two, a couple months since we've gotten an update from you, and you were just poised to, make it rain.
Not sure if that has happened. It's been just a slow year overall. Starting last winter, it just wasn't super great. I'm trying to stay optimistic for this winter because we've got good snow. But I've been hearing from, I'm sure you all have talked about this a lot in the last, all the meetings that I've missed, but just the younger crowd isn't drinking as much. Wine sales are down across the country. I mean, it's just, I'm trying to figure out what else to bring in to kind of make up for some of that. And I've tried some of the NA stuff, and it's hit or miss. Like some of the beers are doing pretty well, but I've tried some of the cocktails, and it's just people aren't willing to pay $8 or $10 for a cocktail. Buying it at a liquor store, at a bar, they'll do
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Not at
let's talk about, there's a couple of issues here, a couple of topics. First of all, for those who don't know, Reed, and you might want to do a summary. He's opened up a kind of a distillery, a destination distillery in Colorado, and it's
Actually, I have a liquor store, so
oh,
not
you
a
have a liquor store. I thought you
yeah.
had a, okay. So then this is a good topic because I do think, um, and you know, we've talked a lot about it over the past year, initially about wine, but now it's really about, I think, and that was a good topic to introduce here because I do think, you know, we were saying 6 months ago or a year ago when it was all the RTDs and seltzers, or 2 years ago, really seltzers, but um, you know, and what's the impact going to be? And then there was all this, you know, movement towards what's the threat of the CBD or THC beverages. But I do think the no alc really has emerged as a bigger um, a bigger player in it. And so I think to your point, I think the challenge, and this is, I'm not going to dominate this. I just happen to be thinking about this a lot. You know, I remember months ago having the discussion with Stephen Gould, who said that you know, they were pushing non-alcoholic cocktails because it allowed people to join their friends if they were going to this place. You know, that they felt like they could be, you know, they could still enjoy. Um, so I think part of it is, you know, is it the no alc, is it the mocktail? I hate to use the word mocktail. Is it the mocktail, or is it simply just providing? And maybe it's not as expensive. You know, maybe you do have a lower price, but it's really about inclusion, so people can come and enjoy. You know, or you're talking about purchasing at a retail environment, but I think it's the idea that people can say, let's go get, you know, some booze and some wine and party, but also let's pick up some no alc. You know, I'm curious though, because it seems like when I walk into, when you walk into any of the big box stores, on the no alc category, athletic is all over the place, and it's like now it's like the leading, one of the top sellers in the whole beer category. Are you not seeing that move up
No,
the shelf?
we sell a lot of that. In fact, I drink it because I think the other thing is people are, and it's going to probably hit even harder with the whole Maha movement going on. People are cutting sugar out again like
What is,
never before.
I'm sorry, what is the Maha movement?
Oh, the Make America Healthy again, like the stuff that RFK is sort of
Oh,
spearheading.
okay, I've
And
not heard that.
there's a lot of movement about getting the chemicals out of our food system, not packing everything with so much sugar. And I'm seeing that with people asking for low sugar wines. Um, it's been really interesting. And I think that's another thing where there's room in the non-alcoholic category is for lower sugar. So many of those taste great, but they're just packed with like 30 grams of sugar, and people just, at least in our area, and we're in a high-end ski area, they're just more aware now, and they're not putting that into their bodies. And I don't know if it's appropriate or not to say here, but the psychedelic movement is coming back, and people are doing that more, and it's not as hard on the body if we're really honest with ourselves. So that's another direction I think some people are going, and I think just being aware of that at least, and knowing that that is part of what's maybe sort of changing the industry, if you will.
What are you seeing in terms of price points? You know, there's this whole discussion of premiumization is dead, and everyone's going for, you know, spend less, or there's still people saying that the only way we're surviving is because we can, you know, get people to get excited about paying $60 for something.
I mean, we're less affected probably by it than most places in America, but I also like the working class here. I mean, it's so darn expensive to live here that the groceries have taken so many dollars of everybody's budget, and you have to eat. Drinking's more of a choice for most people. And I think that's another thing, like people they're feeding themselves. And I mean, my dad, who is retired, he lives out in Massachusetts, but he looked at his credit card bill and he was just like, I can't keep buying alcohol. And they're retired, they're fine. But he's just like, I don't want, there's a disconnect in where he wants to spend his money. And he's
Mhm,
just like, I'm not doing it on alcohol anymore. And he quit drinking, which was shocking to me after,
mhm.
I don't know, 50 something years.
That is interesting. Anyone else have any thoughts on that from well, of course, we've got Ernesto here who's dealing with tequila. And Joey, what's your take?
So I actually own a non-alc. But to your point earlier with the athletic brew, I actually enjoy a lot, and I drink that at home. Actually, the founder lives in my town. Those guys are absolutely crushing it. But on the spirit side, they're so bad. I had to kind of jump in and create my own. It's a private label I do for a major retailer nationally, but they're stacked with sugar. I'm type 2 diabetic too, so that's a sensitive topic. So all my products are always, even before it's like a buzzword, like additive free, like
Mhm.
glycerine. That's never in any of my products. But the non-alc stuff is brutal. All the spirit ones are just really they're stacked with sugar. They're stacked with a lot of stuff that's even worse than sugar. And the taste at the end of the day from I mean, they have single malt ones and bourbons and rye. I mean, there's dozens of different, and it's just like flat ginger beer. The agave ones I think are especially brutal. So I just recently jumped into that space. I knew I could just build a better mousetrap. So um, created something specific for a private label client, and it's doing really, really well. But I also own mezcals and RTDs and all that kind of stuff too on my own outside of the private label business.
What is the product that you created,
It's called Proof of Life.
and what is it actually?
It's there's a gin, there's a vodka, there's a mezcal, and there's a tequila. It's basically just like a better ritual.
And what was I mean, you've been able to maintain kind of the flavor profiles or
Yeah, exactly. It's when it comes to like formulation and stuff, it's really we have a great team. They do a really good job. So I was very confident in that space, from building the RTD stuff, also no additives and just very few ingredients and all that kind of stuff. Even the profile before we got to the alcohol piece was so much better than the ones out there. I was really confident that we could do that with the non-alc spirit.
Hmm, that's cool.
Yeah.
Ernesto, are you feeling
Can
the
I
need
can
now?
I interrupt really quick?
Sure.
Joey, would you put your website in the chat for us?
For the private label,
Yeah, the proof of life, or is it? Can we get it or read more about it?
yeah, very, very soon. So it's gonna be a major retailer nationally, but they're positioned on the West Coast and
Okay.
online, and it'll be January 1. I'll get you all that information
Okay,
on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
great.
And I can send you I'll email you the all the images and the deck and stuff like that so you can see what the package looks like, but it'll be a January 1 launch.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Ernesto, I was going to ask if you're seeing any of this from your perspective, the no elk uh, agave and mezcal and
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good to see everyone. Haven't been in here in a few months, I think. I have seen it. I have seen it around. We actually did. We participate in the Los Angeles International Spirits Competition out of the LA County Fair, and there were some non-alcohols there because once that competition is done, gold medal winners get to do classes during the fair. So we got to try some things there. I don't know if your brands was there in particular. Sorry, I'm on my phone, so I can't see everybody's names. but I don't know if Joey's, if your brand was there at the fair at all.
No,
I
Ernesto,
tried.
I had a different brand there that actually did really well at the fair too. It's called Sun Ice. It's in a
Okay.
pouch like a Capri Sun.
Ah, okay.
But
Did you but did you participate in any of the classes during the fair though?
no, it was actually just for the fair, but and we do it
Oh,
every year with them, and then we do the Orange County one. But I mean, the
right.
volume is tremendous. They the fair organizers said that we were outselling High Noon like 5-1.
Oh, beautiful. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the non-alc, so we do with our brands, we the fair's it's a month. So we take 2-3 days a week. So I'm at the fair basically every day for during the whole time of the fair, and we take the classes. We tasted, we went to a whiskey class and they had a non-alc. And then we went to and I mean, my family, because it's all family for us. My son owns a brand, daughter owns a brand, I own a brand, and then we're importers and distributors, right? So we tasted a bunch of stuff with these Witset people that know have great palate, stuff like that. And the non-alc was there, but in every class, people were just it's like everything was really artificial because they like in the whiskey one, there was a whiskey that was it was a whiskey, and then there was alcohol removed, which was better than a whiskey that they had that same tasting day. That was it never had any alcohol at all. It was just all, I guess it's additives. I don't know. It's just
I don't even
formulation.
understand it. How, like, as far as whiskey goes, the like the whole process, like, I don't get it.
Yeah, so it was very weird, and that one that was the that was never an alcohol at all was, it tasted like people, they wanted to match it to taste like whiskey, but it didn't work. I mean, the class was 40 people, and even the people that were giving out the class, they're like, yeah, okay, now you're gonna try this one, you're gonna try, we tried through a bunch of great whiskeys. And at the end of the day, of the two non-alcs, the one that was alcohol removed was okay. I can't remember the brand now, but the one that was just no alc ever, and it was just stuff put together to taste like whiskey was actually quite terrible.
Huh.
And at retail, I have no idea how it's
What
doing.
is it? What do they put together to make it taste like whiskey? I mean,
It's kind of like
chemicals and flavors and water?
yeah. It's kind of like, okay, so right now the
Let me
big
get
thing right now.
my witch hat on and make it.
Well, I
Yes,
mean,
yeah. It's a brew.
adding
It's
smoking in it,
it's a combination of well, the way I feel this is kind of like on a side note, the big push right now, we're additive free tequilas, all this good stuff, right? So before that, when because I would do it, formulate, and we still have brands that are not additive free. It's like, okay, let's bring this brand. What does it taste like? It's tequila. What do we need to taste like? A little bit more oak, a little bit more cinnamon, a little bit. So that's what I think they did with this whiskey. This put, I guess, water. Yes, I guess that's the base. I don't know what the base would be. And put all these flavorings and colorings and stuff like that to match it to a whiskey, which was like, yeah, it's like water with sugar and oak essence and maybe some vanilla extract and make it smell. They wanted to make it smell, look, and taste like whiskey.
Mm.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the idea when you build those is really to, at least we do that for our brands. Like say like the RTDs and stuff. I have multiple flavors, and I was actually working on a coffee one. So you want to work backwards. So like you think of like coffee. I think where people make the mistake, like something like coffee, like pure coffee is actually nasty. Like nobody really likes pure coffee, or even a mango. Like even like a pure mango. It's the flavors that come from that, like a coffee, like the cinnamon and the vanilla and the cacao. You want to capture those flavors, not necessarily like the coffee bean itself. It's really just those other ones. You really want to kind of walk backwards. But yeah, the base is water, and for most of them, it's literally sugar water. And then they add the colors and all that kind of stuff to match it. But I don't know. I haven't seen one that's even halfway decent so far.
Michael Clancy has just mentioned Silva Labs. So this is from the founder of Seedlip, you said?
Yeah, hi guys, just coming in there. Hi everybody. Yeah, just this the guy Ben Branson who founded Seedlip has put that has just brought that out. And I've seen some kind of whiskey people, influencers, bloggers, whatever, talking about it and sort of saying, "Oh, this is very tasty," you know. But again, I don't know. I haven't tasted it yet. And nice price, actually, $70. Yeah, so you know, these things are still priced around the same as you would expect for a spirit. But anyway, hopefully, well, hopefully for them, it's a better taste than Seedlip, because I don't think that was great. But these ones anyway, they're ultrasonic processing with wood and stuff like that. I haven't spent a whole lot of time looking into it, but I must get a taste of it. And then there's another one called which is just purely an aperitif, which is Botivo, which I put the link in there as well. And it's a non-alcoholic aperitif, and it's not bad. I think I've tasted that, and it's not bad at all. But it's you know, it's quite specific. So, but yeah, the vast majority of non-alc spirits replacements that I've tasted are not great, to be perfectly honest.
I've never had one. I'm so curious
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I think what I saw somebody writing about them. I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody that I'd kind of rate talking about these recently, and they said these, you know, this product by Silva was not bad, and the Botivo as well, but that, like, what they said was that these are not trying to be spirit, they're not trying to be whiskey, or they're not trying to be rum, they're basically they're their own products, and they're non-alcoholic, but basically they're their own products, so you're not
Like
expecting them
tastes
to
like whiskey.
you're not expecting it to
Well,
taste
Well,
like
I
you're not
think
expecting it to taste exactly like whiskey. So
that was the whole Seedlip
yeah,
plan, because you'd go and they didn't say this was gin. They'd say this
yeah,
is botanical and it's got juniper and
yeah,
what have you. And so it was about adding flavors.
yeah.
I
And you
think,
can't call something gin if
right.
it's certainly in Europe, you can't call something gin if it's less than 37.5% alcohol. You can't.
Right.
It's not gin. It's not there's no such thing as a non-alcoholic gin, because to be a gin it must have 37.5%. And there's no such thing as non-alcoholic whiskey either. That has to be, whiskey has to be a minimum of 40%. So
Here, I mean, over the past number of years, I mean, there's been, a flood of no alcohol vermouths and tequilas and rums and gin, and then, more recently the whiskeys, which I think, as we just discussed, part of that is trying to capture some of the flavor profile. But it's when I'm curious about silver, because for me, looking at that saying $70, um, is pretty
crazy.
expensive.
Yeah.
Is
yeah,
that a 750?
No,
No,
it's
it says
500.
it's 50 CL.
Yeah,
Yeah.
500. It's like,
Yeah, I think they're missing the mark on that. I think if it doesn't have a 3 in front of it, you're in no man's land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, this is limited edition made to order. That's which tells you that maybe they're not ready to go into
Yeah.
high
Wow.
volume.
Wow.
Anyway.
So yeah, no, it's an interesting approach, but it's, yeah, where they will ultimately end up, I don't know.
A $70 bottle of real whiskey would be a splurge. That's just crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
and for the novice in the group, thank you, because I was sitting there going, what am I buying exactly for
Yeah.
$70?
Nothing
Except I
is
also
what you're
saw you
buying.
can't buy it in the US.
Well,
So
you're
there's
buying
that,
herbs aged, sonic aged in wood.
You're
yeah.
buying tea.
Yeah,
Basically.
well, I was gonna say, how about a water with some lemon in it?
Yeah.
Saying.
Yeah, just
We'll do that for $30.
Right, exactly. Splurge on Fiji
Misty
water.
Paula
Go.
was here and then is gone. She popped in and
She-
popped out.
She's coming
I
back.
think she's just muted.
Yeah,
All
he's
right, good.
coming back.
Good. So, Paula, welcome back. I do owe you a message back, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
We've been talking about kind of a combination of like the no alcohol movement and how significant that is or insignificant. I mean, it's anecdotally it's significant. There's all these products. We've got Reed, who is has a retail outlet, who is saying that that stuff's not really moving off the shelves. And just kind of curious if you've dabbled in that space at the Striped Pig, or you're doing a heavy focus on bringing people in to buy cocktails. And the question is, what about their friends who don't drink? Are they coming in too?
Yes. So we have a lot of business meet and greets on Wednesday evenings. And even though I have more people, I have less sales. They don't drink. We've just been trying to come up with what we're going to do on the menu to create just more enticing coffee products. So we're adding a coffee bar. We're the Striped Pig has its own coffee line now. So we do, trying to see if I have a bag handy. We do whole bean. We made several different roasts, and we got a local. I actually, of course, bought the business, a local roastery, and it's all sustainable, and the coffee is working directly with the rainforest, the producers. So putting in the coffee bar and doing fancy coffees and eggnogs and our version of spiced hottie toddies is how we're handling trying to increase those sales, along with just different mocktails, but providing like the bubble teas and the matcha teas, just things that give them an opportunity to still come to the bar and hang out with us. And then we will be opening the our food truck, which will also be a coffee bar with, and then have like mimosas and orange juice too. So we're trying to appeal to everybody. I get asked by celebrities all the time to do a non-alcoholic brand. And my answer to them is, yeah, let's call that water. I mean, it's just, for me, it doesn't make sense for me to put my resources to compete with the big boys who will and are controlling the space so quickly. The better thing that I can do is give them a nice hot cup of tea or a coffee mushroom latte, something that's just unique for while they're in the space.
What about the demographics? These meet and greets, are they generally young professionals, or are they?
It's all over the place,
Okay.
local businesses. And then we are just now instituting a corporate membership for our meet and greets so that we can, I tie this in with SCIRT and financial planning, financial literacy. So we're featuring a local business, getting the opportunity for them to step up and share what their new business is. So we get a lot of transplants to Charleston that have found the meet and greet and then come to kind of pitch their business. And then we get a group of the people who come religiously week after week because it's their chance to hang out with the core group of people that have come together. I'd say it's still a little bit of an older demographic, not quite, the youth, but we'll get everything from insurance agencies to, we had a pressure washer company come in this past Wednesday. We had WOW internet services come. Like, I never know who's going to come. They show up because it's an opportunity to pitch their business, check out the distillery. And that's an opportunity for me to pitch event services for them too.
Yeah. That's a good
But
idea.
the bar, but I'm telling you, the bar is like on Wednesdays, $23,
Really?
$45. And then in South Carolina, because we can't sell alcohol past 7 p.m., I don't even get bottle sales out of it because we run from 5 to 8. I will make an announcement twice during the meeting. Hey, if you were planning on getting your bottle, you want to do that now. Register is going to close in 5 minutes. But they don't, they're engaged in conversation. Then they're leaving at 8 o'clock and they're like, oh, can I get a bottle of the espresso? And I'm like, nope, didn't hear the announcement. It's just frustrating that I can't sell it to them.
Are you going to do Charleston Food and Wine?
I don't know. We've done it. I did it
last
every year. for like 12 years in a row. Then we didn't do it for 4 or 5 years. Then we did it this past year.
Yeah, I was
And-
there. I wish we would have, I don't know how we missed Mark on connecting there, but
Yeah.
I was there for a week. Huh.
And then it was not a great experience this year.
Oh, I thought it was pretty, I don't know.
Yeah.
Talking about the Charleston Wine and Food.
Yeah. Why did you, what was your, I don't know. I mean, I personally didn't like where my table was and the whole setup, but what was your bad experience?
Yeah, I'm just saying it, we didn't feel like there was impact, you know, from what they did in the organization. We didn't get what we thought we were gonna get.
Okay. Fair. And it was very windy.
Yes, it was windy. They had a lot of cancellations. And, you know, again, it's weather dependent. Hence, my 24,000 square foot building under roof. Our Strike Pig Saturday we have a vendor fair the first Saturday of every month. So tomorrow is first Saturday. We've got Santa Claus, food trucks, entertainment. So that's what we do the first Saturday of every month, because those vendor fair, and I'm panicking because, you know, it's 46 degrees here today. And I'm panicking. We have an event tonight from a local construction company's having their Christmas party. And I ordered 6 heaters from Lowe's that were supposed to arrive Wednesday, and they still haven't arrived. And I'm like going crazy. And my daughter said, Mom, everything in Charleston is outside. These vendors are used to sitting out in the wind, the rain, the cold. Like, it's just a bonus that we're inside. Yeah, it's going to be a little cold. They're not outside. So I don't know.
Oh, the joys of proprietorship.
Exactly.
Let's ask Michael Clancy what's new in his world. You've been traveling a bit.
I missed the last one. I was it was actually my birthday the last day, and I was at a lunch. There was an industry lunch event.
Oh yeah, Stephanie told us what time your lunch started.
So basically I suppose it was hopeful to think I would have made the last event, but so
The industry lunch event turned into a happy hour.
Well, it was kind of I was home at a reasonable hour because I had to I was going out with my family that evening anyway. So, but I was actually the previous night I was up in Belfast at the Irish Whiskey Awards. Were up in Belfast, so we won Best Irish Vodka for Best Irish flavored vodka for the. We won Best Irish Vodka with the same product last year, and we won Best Irish Vodka for the 2 previous editions of that competition as well. So we're kind of the kings of vodka in Ireland here at the moment. And we also won Best Irish Grain Whiskey, which is a big deal. So basically, our
what's the name brand of the vodka?
Whippy. So it's a vanilla vodka. So it's a really nice product. We just use natural vanilla, no artificial. Interesting to hear one of the people on there talking about artificial products and chemicals and whatever. So we don't use any artificial chemicals or colorings or anything in this. It's all natural. So, but yeah, really good product. We developed it because, you know, bars are porn star martinis and espresso martinis are probably the 2 of the highest selling cocktails here in Ireland. So basically that's why we developed this product. But it's done quite well for us. And we sell it in eco spirits, in eco totes. So 4.5 liter format. And basically, you know, we have a number of bars that are kind of cocktail bars that are taking it because they're pouring vodka for those cocktails. So works really well. Yeah, so that's
Can we
those
talk
things.
about that, Michael? Can we talk about the eco spirits, because we've kind of lived through your evolution of introducing us to it, and now you're building a brand. You're building your brand presence with it. How's that?
Yeah, well, we're so like basically we're the Irish operator for this, Island of Ireland operator. So we're filling our own products into eco spirits, and then those products are being sold into bars. And what that does is it allows us to compete with the big guys. So, for instance, there's a very busy bar in Dublin where we are kicking out Jameson of the pouring whiskey, and it's going to be a blend that we've designed developed for the premises, and it's going to be pouring in EcoSpirits, and we can do that. We can match those guys in price, because just 1 second there. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, give me 5 minutes and I'll move. Yeah. So yeah, so anyway, so yeah, so that's quite good. We're also able to compete with the likes of Smirnoff on vodka in a lot of premises as well, through being in EcoSpirits, because we're not paying for 6 bottles and 6 labels and a shipper case every time. It's basically we're using the returnable format. So yeah, it makes sense. It's
Are they, talk about the logistics on premise? Are they pouring, are they pulling into a single bottle, or are they using it as like a draft?
depends on the premises, right? And it's most of them are filling bottles before service and using them either in a speed rail or on an optic, so the thing on the back bar. But we have some premises where they're pouring directly. And ironically, one of the places that's pouring directly is quite close to us down in the Midlands, and it's a real traditional Irish pub, but he just got this straight away, and he just says, yeah, that's grand. I won't have any bottles. I won't have any cardboard or anything. And he has this on the back bar, and he's actually has our gin, our vodka, and he's got a whiskey in it as well. And basically, he's pouring directly from this. Thinks it's absolutely fantastic, best thing ever. So, and you know, that's he's one of the busiest bars around, and yeah, makes sense. So, like for us, we're a small business. Everyone's feeling the same, you know, cost of living, and it's the same here. So it's and all of our kind of bigger peers in the industry here in Ireland are under pressure. You know, they're struggling to get sales, but I suppose we've got this as an angle which has been quite good to us, and it's one of different things that we do. We're also doing quite a bit of bespoke products for hospitality bars and hotels and stuff. So, and we've taken on a number of other products in that as well, because there was another distillery who were doing a lot of gins and stuff. Third party gins have closed, and basically we've taken on their customers. So yeah, it's kind of kept us going. It's or you know, it's allowed us to thrive in difficult times, you know. So yeah. So just give me 5 minutes. I just need to dip out here, and I need to relocate myself. Okay.
Okay. All right. So Carrie, what's your take on things these days?
It's kind of just horrible all the way around, which I'm sure we're all seeing. I'm sure you saw some of the industry news this week with, I mean, wineries are trading properties and bottling lines and acquisitions, and kind of crazy. And I used to work for that company, and so it's just a lot going on, I guess.
You know, it's wine, but it's also it's in spirits a lot. I mean, did you see you know, Brown-Forman's
Yeah,
numbers? They, you know, for the Jack is down,
a
even
lot of big
premiums
spirits are down. Yeah.
significantly. Yeah, so it's a kind of an Stoli group, although that's probably unrelated to market, more related to whatever they did to screw things up. But
Internal, yeah. But
yeah,
you know, we're obviously in the middle of planning next year, and it's like the thought of launching new brands is like, how? I mean, we're trying to tread water on existing brands. So
is it too early? Well, is it too early to, how do you get sales data? How close to real time for your
it
brands?
depends on what state and what distributor. Like Georgia's pretty much daily. I mean, things can go off by you know, a dozen or so cases. You know, New Jersey's a state who doesn't report anything in until 5 days after the end of the month. It just depends on the state, really, and the distributor, and who's reporting the RAD data into the whoever their partner is.
So I'm just curious if in any of the real-time data, is there any early OND trends that you can cite? Is it just down? Volumes are down?
Georgia's actually up, believe it or not,
Hmm.
over 10%. I think it was 11% as of yesterday. Most states are down. The only reason California is up for us, and I'm not talking about the total business, is because we switched wholesalers there. So it's
They're pushing more.
yeah, but people are trading down. A lot of suppliers aren't interested in doing, or who have historically had 750s and 1.5s. A lot of people aren't doing 1.5s anymore. I mean, everyone's just kind of cutting back where they can.
Who's your distributor in California, may I ask?
We just went to Southern
Oh, you went Southern, okay.
several months ago, but it took a long time for the transition to happen. I don't manage it. I'm just trying to speak for the whole country, but
Got it.
we are aligned with Southern in the states that they're doing business in. I happen to have several states that Southern is not in as well, so I'm with Empire and a few.
Got it.
Paula, what are you seeing outside your local market for your brands?
My West Coast, which is new, probably definitely less than 2 months since we shipped to our Colorado distributor. In fact, they just called me yesterday and said they've never seen a brand that activated as well as ours. They love our story. They want to talk about distribution in 7 other states, and they're looking at points in the brand. So we're having those conversations. They own a tequila brand that is all female owned as well, and they have had great success with it. So that's a good niche for them. And that's what I'm seeing on the West Coast. But it's very new, very new.
Stripe Pig brand.
Yes, they took 20 cases of every one of my products. So 20 times 20.
Hmm.
Cool. Do you know the tequila brand that they're
I don't know it actually.
all female owned, probably like La Gritona? Does that ring a bell?
No,
No? Okay.
I wouldn't know because they literally didn't bring it up, but I'm supposed to speak with them today. But that was crazy for a distributor to call me unprompted.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we were sitting going through numbers and Ramey said, you got to get on a plane and go to Denver. Like, let's go where we've got something going and just get everybody excited. And then within 5 minutes, I got a call from them and I was expecting bad news, of course. I was like, oh shit. And then he's like, hey, let me run down the execution and the implementation. And he went through all of the things. Interestingly enough, the vanilla pecan bourbon was the highest seller, only by a case more than the others, but he was like, that's just flying off the shelves. And then he said, and through all this, and I don't know, it was maybe like 50 or 60 cases total, 3 cases of this, 3 cases of this, 3 cases of this, 3 cases of this. He went down the numbers and he's like, and I only moved 12 cases of my own tequila. That's how I found out. And I said, oh, what's your tequila? And he said, and that's also a woman owned. So we're supposed to talk at 2:00 today. So we'll see.
Well, that's good news.
Anyway, I'm just hopeful because everything else is crappy news. You know, Texas is slow for us. That's usually our best state. California, okay. New York is doing better, but just because we use execution out of our online store right now. My focus for next year is going to be DC, honestly.
Are you not in DC now?
We are.
You
But
are,
it's just easier for me to do business. And I have a lot of natural hip hop partners that are in the DC area that if I focus on direct to consumer and direct to retail in DC, I don't need a distributor. And then I can use those retailers for our online distribution too. So I'm trying to just find the states where it's easy for me to do direct business. And then because I have my distillery in Pennsylvania, it's the same for me in Pennsylvania. So DC, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Florida, California.
So Pennsylvania is not difficult for you?
I have a distillery in Pennsylvania, so I'm considered an in-state distiller. I follow a different set of rules.
Cool.
I didn't know you had a distillery there. What?
Yeah, this is our 2nd year.
What do you produce there?
We're still doing straight pig bourbons. We can do anything through our transfer and bond because I'm the first recognized out of state, in-state distiller in Pennsylvania. That allows me to have up to 6 physical locations, restaurants and tasting rooms under my licenses. And then I have a partnership with the guys that own the Hickory Farms brand. So we're gonna like concentrate on some bourbon meats and things like that. But they have opened their own little distillery, and I'm trying to get to like have them be one of my locations.
Mm.
I'm focusing on trying to find wine partners in Pennsylvania because they already have the system. They know the business a little bit. It'll be easy for me to just implement products and put them right into they do wine case deliveries out of Pennsylvania. I would be able to put in a bourbon, a vodka, a gin right into those wine cases as they were distributed to those clients, customers.
That's promising.
Yeah. But you got to find the person that gets it. You know,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of conversations with our lawyers in Pennsylvania talking to these wineries saying, oh, no, we can't do that. And like, no, you can. Here's what she did. Here's what the rules are. Here's the new law. So it's just finding the people that don't get scared.
Right. So the law says that they can, as long as, are you transferring the product to them first?
Yes. So the only requirement is that it's 2 separate sets of books and 2 separate POS systems. So I will offer to put that separate system in at my cost. But they have to be willing to train their people to, you got to ring this up this and ring this up this, and then package it and send it out.
So like, I'm sure they're thinking what's in it for them. I mean, they're probably worried about their license and,
Well, that's why I have the
probably if
the
it's not broke,
lawyers.
don't fix it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I mean, I
Talk to
could see
them
where they
and-
would be scared of the risk a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. It's the same anywhere, right? When the laws change a little bit and people say, hey, how many people do you have to argue with that bourbon has to be made in Kentucky? It's hard to get beyond the laws when people make up things.
Mm. Ernesto, what are you, what else, what's happening in the tequila space?
Well, it's you were mentioning O&D a little while ago. It is a little flat. There was no O.
There was no O.
No
So
O.
you're counting on N and D.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ND, N was pretty good, a little bit of an uptick. And D, I'm actually in Guadalajara now. I don't know if you noticed, I'm not in my office. I'm in I think I had mentioned to the group that, I have a partnership in a brand building studio here in Guadalajara, building brands from zero, bottles, labels, design, all this good stuff. So I flew in last night. But business is a little bit okay. We picked up a new brand for import and distribution in June. And we're pushing that to 20 states now, from June to now. And we've done about 30 pallets, which is not bad for a newish brand of tequila, and it's gotten great recognition. It's all over online, stuff like that. So it's doing pretty good, and that's what has really sustained us. Our core brands, our family brands, are doing okay. But yeah, it's the additive free thing has really affected us in particular because we've got really flavorful tequilas that people ask, is this additive free? Well, not really, but I've been doing this for 24 years. Additive free for us is the last maybe 4 or 5. So we've got these brands that we've been carrying all this time, and now like, oh, is that it? No, it's not. What does it have? Oh, it might have, we don't really use vanilla in some of our brands, but it's got maybe some oak extract to match colors or whatever, batch to batch or stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay, what else do you got? So we are getting a lot of pushback from retail. But like I said, we've grown. We've opened up since this year. We've opened up about 12 states that we weren't in before.
That's good. Now, when you open up a state, are you totally dependent on your distributor, or are you deploying resources?
No, we have to partner with Wherewithal distributors that can take the ball and run with it. We're still very small, even though we've been in business for a long time. It's like I mentioned, it's family run, stuff like that. So we don't have the resources to like you were saying earlier, like, oh, I got to go out to Colorado, I got to go out to to Tennessee, I got to go to Georgia. So we're in those states, but it's all online, emails, phone calls. I don't know my distributors personally, other than a handful. I know my Georgia guy, I know my Texas guy, and that's about it. All the other 18 states are just, hey, how you doing? And it's and they run with it. They run with the brand. And the thing is that the brands that we work with, we ask for them to be really hands-on. Like the brand that I'm mentioning now, they have a national brand ambassador, and they send that guy everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's all these events, taste ofs or competition and stuff like that. He's all over the place. He basically lives in the airport for that one brand, and that works very well.
That helps you immensely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely helps us immensely. And we've gotten these it's kind of strange for me because I think the Southwest, I guess, or just the South is where tequila is consumed. And then we just picked up for this brand, we picked up Oklahoma. Like, okay, Oklahoma. I didn't know there was tequila drinkers in Oklahoma. So it seemed odd for us a little bit of where the brand is going, but people are searching out the brand. And the thing is that the brand owners, they're young guys, they're like my children's age, they're like 30, 35 around there. This brand owner was in the brewing, he does beer in Illinois. So what he's doing, just as an example, what he's doing is every state, he's going to breweries in every state, he's picking up barrels from different breweries, sending them to Arandas, to Jalisco, basically an hour and a half from here, and they're doing batches of tequila, and they're for that state only.
Okay.
So he did for California, he did Bottle Logic. So there's Bottle Logic brewing barrel aged tequila. So it's only for California, and they only did 500 cases. And I mean that went in, I think, 10 days it was gone. And then they did one for Illinois, Revolution Brewing. So that's what he's doing so every state that we're going into, he's the brand owner. This guy's negotiating with a local brewery and doing this, and it's really working for him. And then we got high proofs, still strengths. It's the retailers that have all the facings. I think right now it's like 12. It's 12 different facings, and it's really good, and it's at a great price point. So it's a great idea. And we are with our other brands, that's our foot in the door for all these states. So we're definitely sending our catalog out of everything else, all our mezcal, raicilla, sotol, bacanora. Tomorrow, I'm here in Jalisco, like I mentioned, in Guadalajara. Tomorrow, I'm going to go see a Tuxca distillery here in Jalisco. We're gonna drive. It's like 3 hours on the road and then an hour and a half on dirt road, and it has denomination of origin for only 2 municipalities here in Jalisco. So it's even smaller than the Raicilla movement, which is also here. We're bringing in 4 Raicillas now, and we're gonna talk about this Tuxca. It's an agave spirit also.
I was gonna say, what is a Tuxca? It's agave.
Tuxca. It's an agave. Yeah, it's an agave spirit. They have denomination of origin of these two municipalities, and their process is a little different. They are fermenting in stones, so big boulders, and they basically dug out, with a pick and a mallet. They made pits in them, and that's where they do open air, natural fermentation, no yeast, none of that, 10 days or whatever. So it's got a really, really unique flavor to it. And it's they have a denomination, so they call it Tuxca, Tuxca. Yeah, so that's interesting. We're I mentioned it before, we're known as the boutique guys, anything new and weird, and I have producers that do 100 liters a year, and that's what I do. I bring it in, so people know us as having the small batch guys that brings in the weird stuff.
I'm sorry. So
just-
what is, so you say it has a unique flavor. Is it tequila
No,
trending? Mezcal trending? What?
it's more mezcal. It's more of mezcal trending as far as flavor profile, just
Okay.
because of the variation of agaves. So if you guys know anything about mezcal, it's mezcal right now you can make it with up to 40 different agave varietals. So when they there it is. That's where I'm going
Oh,
right there.
yeah.
I'm gonna go see this one. Here it goes. The two on the right.
Indio Alonso.
El Indio Alonso and Siete Pozos. So Siete Pozos is a distillery that they found out those are owned by two ladies. A lady owns each one of these brands. And the Siete Pozos, this lady inherited a ranch, a lot of hectares. Walking through it or horseback riding through it, they came upon these stones with holes in it. And she asked, her family, whatever, what's going on here? Oh yeah, your great grandfather used to do some fermentation, mezcal, type of thing here, 150 years ago. And it had that property has 7 pits. That's why it's siete pozos. And there's okay, let's do it. Let's revive it. And they're reviving it. And I'm gonna hopefully, with all these good vibrations, going to close the deal to import those 2 brands tomorrow. Tomorrow Saturday. I'm going to that distillery. The Indio Alonso. Just real quick, that story that is the head of a beheaded guy. He went into the town, stole the prettiest girl in town, ran away with her, hid in a cave. And the girl, convinced him, oh yeah, I love you, it's okay, you don't have to, tie me or anything like that. They were gone for like a week or 2 or whatever.
Oh
And
my
she
God.
ended up, one of the times that the guy who fell asleep, she took his head off and ran away and came back into town. And that's an image of the guy's head. El Indio Alonso is the one that stole this young lady. So that's the story behind that other brand.
So is Indio Alonso his name?
Alonso is his name, and Indio is a native guy from the region. So that's where they use the name El Indio Alonso.
That's quite a backstory.
Oh my
That
God.
is-
It's crazy.
Yeah, both of
That's
those have a really
it's an
really
awesome
cool story.
story.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Survival of the fittest, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah, she convinced him that that she did want to be with a guy, for a few days or whatever, and took advantage of this guy's asleep. Boom. Right. And then came back into town. I'm free.
It's a woman-owned brand.
They are both
I
women.
know,
No, they're
right?
they're different. They're different women. They're comadres. They're very good friends. But yeah, they're 2, and you can see here the Siete Pozos. It's agave amarillo and liñeño is the agave, and then the Indio Alonso is cimarrón and salmiana.
Mm.
So they're different agaves, even amongst themselves.
Interesting.
Ernesto,
Yeah.
I had sent you a mail back in August.
You did,
about
and I
kind of
apologize
going-
for not getting back
Yeah.
to you. Let's
Yeah.
re-up that
that's-
conversation. Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's and it's at the less boutique end of the spectrum, I think. But it's I'm just talking about trends. Agave spirits, agave cocktails are hot here at the moment. We're kind of behind everywhere else, of course. But that's what So we had an inquiry for that in this
Okay.
to go
Definitely.
into this Eco Spirits format. But we and Eco Spirits have a distribution company called Proof and Co. And they have their own products, but basically their tequila and mezcal just weren't going to work price wise. So anyway, maybe yours could.
Sure. Yeah, we could definitely go ahead and I'll look for your email, and if not, send me
I picked it out there and resent it to you again. So
yeah, you sent it out to me. So also another thing that's interesting for all of you that have distilleries, we're seeing a way. I'm working with a distillery here back in LA, called The Obscure. I don't know if you know them. and they're doing all varieties of spirits, and they want to have an agave spirit, but they want to be able to put 100% agave on it, even if they don't call it tequila. So what we're doing is that we're sourcing on ordinario. So tequila has to be distilled twice, right? First
Yeah.
distillation is called ordinario. So I haven't done it yet. It's just I'm throwing it out there. We're experimenting with bringing totes of that ordinario, only one distillation, and they're gonna put it through the stills in LA, right? Give it the second distillation, and they're gonna be able to put on the bottle 100% agave, 100% agave spirit. They can't call it tequila, because it's not produced completely in Jalisco, but they're gonna be able to put 100%. And if they were bringing a mixed or anything else, already made tequila, it'll have to be mixed to 51%. So we're experimenting with that, talking to CRT, talking to customs, all these people to see if that's something that is possible. Again, haven't done it yet, but that's also something. Once we get it done, it's something that I also obviously offer to the group if anybody wants to do an agave spirit to be able to put 100% on it.
Okay, it'll be interesting. Yeah.
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 Do
See,
you do
have a look
agave?
and see if you could get it to Europe.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Interesting.
Obviously the economics of it have to stack up, but like you never know where
Right.
where it might work.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just a comment somebody said earlier about kind of a $70 bottle of whiskey is a big treat. It's funny. I listened to, I don't know if you know Mark Gillespie, whiskey cast podcast.
Yeah.
So I listened to him a bit, and like all the ads for him, they're like $90, $120, whatever. So there are people there who it's not an issue. So I suppose they're the people we need to be getting to rather than
But that one was a non-alc.
Yeah.
yeah. No, but no, somebody was saying $70 is like that's a treat whiskey, but it's obviously not for a lot of people. It's not, so I suppose that's what we need to be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the trend apparently, it's not that people won't spend that. Is that that's not their go-to everyday drinker.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the thing that they'll buy and put on the shelf.
Yeah. We're bringing in a Mexican whiskey. I think I showed it last time in kind of like the Neft can, the tin. That's retailing for 130 in the States, and it's not high volume, but it is moving. People are picking it up. It's a 4 native Mexican corn whiskey made in Oaxaca, 100% corn, maize. So people are paying high prices, not high volume, but again, almost everything that we do is not a high volume item. We're known for that boutique stuff. Yeah.
The other thing that some of you may have seen was the Waterford distillery here. I don't know if you picked up on that. So Mark Rainier, very much, he was the guy who bought Bruichladdich distillery and had that for a number of years and basically got that up and running again and relaunched it and whatever, and then he sold it to Remy Cointreau. And then he came and he bought what was an ex-Diageo brewery in Ireland, and turned that into a distillery, which is called Waterford. It's in Waterford City, down in the southeast of the country. And he had this whole very ambitious project all around terroir in barley. So single farm distillations and all this sort of stuff. And anyway, but basically the receivers were called in this week. So anyway, it's just it's worth listening to the Whiskey Cast podcast on it there, or worth listening to. Actually, Philip Duff does a podcast, and it's worth listening to his podcast. He's interviewing Mark Rainey on that. So that's big news over this side of the pond. I suppose there's a number of other distilleries. There's rumors about different other distilleries that they're in difficulty because again it's high OPEX and pressure on the sales side of things. So
it's about survival of the fittest.
Yeah, and I think that's we're small, but we've got multiple facets going on and multiple markets, I suppose, as well. So we just launched in Singapore which is quite interesting. And again, it's not a price sensitive market. It's not massive volume, but it's not a price sensitive market either. So it's a geographically quite controllable in terms of the distance wise. So it's easy to cover kind of, and yeah. So look, there's opportunity. I think if you're low down and dirty enough to look at it, look for it.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I think
Yeah.
you know the story that you're telling about the bars pouring directly, you know, that has the opportunity to really drive up the visibility of your brand and, you know, and move
Yeah.
on, which is great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Question actually for you guys. Brindy Ammo, who's behind them? What's the story? I just keep seeing them popping up everywhere. Where have they come out of? Who's behind them? Who's funding them? They're obviously, somebody has decided we're going to have a play at the spirits industry.
Yeah.
We're going to throw a whack of money at it, and they just seem to
Well,
be
I
everywhere.
mean, Jeff Hopmeyer, you know, is heads that up. Yeah, and they're kind of, you know, on one hand, they are offering these aggressive barrel management programs, and you know, providing you know, some financing against those. You know, they're trying to get into all different elements of it. I don't know who the money is behind it. I don't know if you know, Paula. Do you know?
I think it's a whole collection. There's,
Yeah.
you know, several people.
Yeah. But yeah, they are trying to, and also they're making big moves in the international space. So
Yeah.
I think
Well, that's that they're you know, they kind of have network out here in Ireland and in Scotland as well, and they're, you know, they're popping up, they're sponsoring competitions and they're sponsoring events and all this sort of stuff. And I thought they were like the biggest sponsor at the ADI conference and stuff like that. So this, it just seemed to be omnipresent. So
They're
it's
definitely not new. So I mean, you're probably focused in on them more because they've been sponsoring things for forever. And I have a
I
long,
suppose I'm
Yeah.
seeing a lot more about them, and I'm in the ADI. I've been in that, and I've been on the
Yeah.
mailing list for years for that, but I never saw them until like last year sometime. I never heard of them,
Yeah.
and then suddenly they're just popping up everywhere. So
But you know what I'm saying? You know how when you pay attention to something and then it brings it into your focus? So I'm
Yeah.
just saying they've been active sponsors in a lot of things for a long time. They tried
Yeah.
to buy my company at one time, and then that deal didn't go through. Obviously, we sold it to the Bardstown Group, and then most of the people from the Bardstown Group left Bardstown and went to Brindy Ammo. They are focusing a lot and have been as a strategy over the last decade for international sales. They've spent a lot of time overseas doing a lot of the international conferences because I used to go with them. I was married to one of the partners. So,
Okay.
yeah, but like Michael just said, they have amassed, which is so funny because 10 years ago Jeff said, that's it, I'm done with the alcohol business, I'm getting out of this industry, I don't want anything to do with it anymore. And then that all turned around and changed. I guess he realized that the big money was still in financing and gathering these barrels and, you know, making loans against them. So it's like a barrel bank, right? We know how those work. And but yeah, so they go through all aspects of building brands. They worked with Ultra Pure a lot aggressively in the past, and then they were supposed to do a potential merger, and then that didn't go through. So they're pretty active, but they love to travel. So they will have a quite international presence, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, no, just interesting to get the insight. Thanks for that. So
All right. Well, if anyone want to throw anything new topic into the mix, or I think we might be concluding. We're going to do next. I'm sorry.
One little last thing, right?
Yeah.
And so for all of you who are on Instagram, and maybe Kerry, you'd put this out as well. So there's I don't know if you're familiar with a thing called Whiskey Lore. It's the guy called Drew Hanish has this a guide. He does guidebooks and podcasts and stuff. It's called Whiskey Lore podcasts, and he writes books, travel books associated with whiskey. So anyway, basically one of the things he does is he does a this competition every year. It's called bracketology, right? So he gets people to nominate companies, nominate distilleries for this, and then from all around the world, and then he runs them off against each other, like and his Instagram followers vote on vote on who is which company wins and progresses to the next stage. But anyway, we've managed to get to the last 8 in this. So so if any of you are on Instagram, so it's whiskey lore.
There it
Let me
is.
see. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So whiskey lore on Instagram, and basically we're in this Elite 8, so Lockery Distillery. So if any of you can,
Oh, right
when it
there.
comes up,
Yeah.
it'll be coming up shortly. And basically we'll be up for that. So if you can please
Cool.
follow it, and when you
Which
see
one
us,
is you?
Lockery.
Lockery.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you can give us a vote for that, that'd be super.
Cool.
Appreciate that.
For sure.
All
Yeah.
right.
So anyway, might as well pull in the
Go for
network.
it.
So yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. So and I'm Mike Clancy 10 on Instagram for any of you that are looking as well.
Got it.
All
Yeah.
right.
Can I do
So-
a plug for my book then?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can
I'm
do
voting
it.
for you right now. But if you
Thanks a
guys
million.
haven't read my book, it's called Alphabet Soup. Maybe you can pull it up, Michael. It's the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of NFTs. But I talk about how I took the first barrel of bourbon ever made in South Carolina to the blockchain with our barrel. And it's a bestseller, and my book tour is starting. So for 2025, we booked 4 major cities already, and I'm excited about that. I'm doing multiple publishing houses producing the book, and I'm working on my next book now, which will hopefully come out in the next 3 months on bourbon. But I talk about my bourbon history in that space, and it's a really good book, and it's so prevalent now. It's even pushing me more into booze bucks and what I want to do with digital currencies around alcohol. So it's definitely a digital.
I'm getting a different book from when I call up Alphabet Soup here.
Alphabet Soup, Pixie Paula Dizzuti. Put that in. You should only then get one.
No.
There you go.
How many have you sold?
Oh, probably maybe about 500 now.
That's nice.
Cool.
Very good. All right, plug is in. All right, so the next one, we're not going to do it on January 3rd because that's a Friday and it's right after New Year's, and we're assuming that people are going to be unplugged. So we'll do it the following Friday, which is January 10th. And Stephanie will send you out your messages. Thank you all. Have a great rest of the holiday. Hopefully the D will help some year-end numbers.
Yes.
Hold on,
Go
don't hang
D.
up yet.
What?
I'm confused. I'm on the whiskey lore thing. Once
Yeah,
you
so-
click on the
So
spot,
yeah, so basically he has it'll be on his story. So
okay.
basically so we're not up for a vote at the moment. He has, what do we see? Does he have a company? No, he doesn't have a vote today, but he will probably have it in the next couple of days. He'll have it up, and he'll have
Got it.
so yeah, so there'll basically be
So you need to
Um,
do with who makes the final, like the next bracket is what you're
yeah,
saying.
the next bracket
Yeah.
is where we're going up. So we're going up against the who are we up against? We're up against where are we? Where are we? Yeah, we're going to be up against Kiwi Spirits. No, actually, sorry, I think we're through that. So we're up against Hellier's Road or Riaki. Can't remember which of them. So and then we'll be up against some of the other guys. So anyway, yeah, just keep an eye out on it, and if you can spare a vote, we'd appreciate it. So
Sure.
yeah,
You got
All right.
so,
Very good.
that's great. Listen, thank you guys, and
Thank you.
have a great holiday season, and yeah, hopefully 2025 will be the doom and gloom will lift, and we
That's
all
right.
have
We're
a
waiting
better
for
year.
we're waiting for the lift.
Yes.
So okay,
All right. Thanks all of you for
Thanks a
Thank
participating.
you
million.
all.
Thanks
All right.
guys.
Happy
Cheers.
New
Bye
Year.
bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you.